Hi again, everybody. If anyone's there, I can't see yet, so please forgive me. Just give me, let me just go to my other screen, check that I am live. Please just get comfortable while I'm doing this. We're just going to start with our breathing again before we go into the poses. There I am. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, okay, great. I can see you arriving. Okay, fantastic. So, what we're going to be doing now is our Yin Yoga class for around just under an hour. Again, I'll finish 5 minutes early, so you've got those 5 minutes before Nigel's meditation, which I hope you enjoyed. He is an excellent teacher. He is my meditation teacher, actually. That's how we met. Hi, Helen. Sorry I didn't say hello before. I didn't see you pop up the first time. And yes, I just think he's really clear and really just a really sort of fantastic teacher and a really great person as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, the meditation. We are going to continue on in a similar kind of theme, in that one element I feel, and many Yin teachers feel, is particularly important. And hi Rosie, oh good, I'm really glad. That's really good to hear, excellent. Hopefully we can continue with that relaxation now with the Yin Yoga. Really important element of Yin Yoga is paying attention to your experience and what is going on. So in a similar way to what you were doing with Nigel, when you were noticing and focusing on your breath, in Yin Yoga we are noticing and focusing on our bodies and perhaps your breath as well, but certainly your body and what's going on in your body. And then that can well lead to what's going on in your mind as well. So becoming aware of your whole experience. So in which case then I feel that Yin Yoga, nice, I like to see these messages going up. So I feel that Yin Yoga is a really useful practice when you are working with change. The reason being that, as I mentioned, we are noticing our experience and what's going on, rather than pushing away or ignoring or overthinking those things that we aren't actually very keen on. Like, for example, some changes going on in our lives that really we don't want to deal with. So actually, yeah, bringing our attention to them instead, which is what we do in Yin Yoga. So in that way, then what we are going to do today is we are going to, in particular, just seeing the messages again, great. In particular, what I would like to do and what I'm going to encourage you to do is notice the transitions in our Yin Yoga practice today. So noticing those transitions from pose to rebound to counter pose. So really looking at the journey rather, and not just the destination. So looking at everything, our whole experience. And also be encouraging you to notice the space between. So basically our rebound, which isn't just a bit of dead space, not at all. It's such a key, important part of the practice. And it is, it's the space in between getting from A to B. So it's also very connected with transition, with those changes. So we'll be focusing on that as well. So I think that now I will stop talking and we will move into the breathing. So if you just want to get into your comfortable seated position, whatever that is, doesn't need to be the same, it can be different. And close your eyes. Let's just come back onto the mat again. Hopefully you've got all your props, by the way. If you haven't, I would suggest grabbing whatever you can. You never know what you're going to need. Close your eyes if they're not closed already. Feel the connection with the floor. Feel the weight of the body. Bring the hands in front of the belly, palms facing up. Keeping the shoulders down and relaxed as we breathe out. Breathe in. After the third out breath, let your hands rest. Notice any effect. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And we're going to start in dragonfly position. So stretch your legs out to the sides. Our target areas now, those of you who do my classes might be a bit sick of doing these target areas because we've done them quite a lot recently. But as we are transitioning from winter into spring, we're quite well into the transition now. We are going to be stimulating the energy, the chi within the meridians that are connected to the spring to help us with that transition. And those meridians run on the inside thighs, the outside thighs, the side of the body, and then also on the sides of the chest here. So that's what we're going to be focusing on amongst other areas, but that's our key target areas. So here, I would like to do this extended. So separate the legs as far as you can and then put the hands on the floor behind you. So it may not be a particularly strong stretch on the inside thighs. That's why I'm saying separate them as much as you can. Don't worry too much if it's not that much. And the more you bring yourself up, then actually that can give you a bit more stretch. So something else you can give a go is to put your hands on blocks. So you're kind of raising up, play with the position of the blocks behind you. You're raising up or bolster. And your hands can be on the blocks or on the floor, or you can be up on your fingertips. But we do want to keep it passive, yeah? So make sure that you are relaxed. What we're doing also here is we're opening up the front of the chest. Starting to stimulate those lines of chi, those lines of energy to help us make that transition smoothly into spring. So this first part, actually the poses, I will just be putting us in 2 minutes for each variation because they are all the same target area, which is the inside thighs. So it's going to be a number of poses for this first part, all stretching the inside line of the leg. So as with all our poses, all our yin poses, I want you to move gently and with attention when you are transitioning from one pose to the next, but particularly today because this is our theme. And we want to keep through this whole first section, stretch on the inside thighs. And I will give you variations if you're not feeling that. Start my timer, you stay where you are, relax into the pose, close your eyes if that is comfortable. It's going to be around another 30 seconds here. And as I said in this first pose, if this is you're not feeling that much stimulation, don't worry too much. You will. In at least one of the next poses that we're going to move into. So now this is dragonfly. We're now going to move into half dragonfly or half butterfly. So pay attention to this transition. And what you're going to do is you're going to bend the left knee and you're going to bring it in to the right thigh. Anywhere. This knee doesn't actually matter that much. Then I want you to turn towards that knee. Move the straight leg out more. If you feel that you've lost the stretch and you want to get it back again, yeah, you can always open or in if you want less. And then we're going to fold laterally over the straight leg. So as I said, look towards the bent leg and then fold laterally over the straight leg. So we're going to raise the left arm over the head so that we're feeling a stretch as well as on the inside thigh, also on the outside, the left. So here what you can see for me, that is what's most comfortable for me actually, is for me to link my hands and kind of rest my head in my hands. And I'm aware that this can be a bit of an awkward pose. So you can play with where you want the arm, but do rest it. It can be straight, it can be bent. This other arm you can have lying on the leg or you can have it folded. You can have it resting on the floor or behind. This arm doesn't actually really matter. You're just using this for comfort. What we want is this left arm so that we're feeling a stretch on the side of the body. We're going to be here for another minute. Remember not to push. And if you're not feeling a stretch on the side of the body, you might want to twist slightly. Twist slightly backwards, see if that gives you stretch, or slightly forwards. And that's the same if you haven't got enough as well. So for the next position, don't move yet, the next pose, we're going to keep the legs as they are, but we're going to fold forward. So bring this top arm down, it may feel a bit tired, and then I want you to fold forward. Now play with the position of the torso. You can move the leg as well if you wanted to, or you can keep it where it is. As I said, our target area is the inside thigh. So move the torso to your natural stopping point, but where you are feeling a mild to moderate stretch on the inside of the right thigh, and then relax into the pose. And with these Yin Yoga poses, if you wanted to use our breathing exercise without the hands, then by all means please use that. That can be really helpful, particularly the out breath, for relaxing deeper into the pose. So remember, when using that breathing exercise, you do rounds of 3. Keep the body relaxed, keep the muscles relaxed, so we can get deep into the deep connective tissue. Don't push. Release. Be with your experience. So we're going to move into the next pose. Pay attention to the movements that you're making. Slowly come up. We're going to move into butterfly. So take hold of this back knee. Bring it in. And this time, bring the soles of the feet together for butterfly. Still targeting the inside thigh. Folding forward. Don't worry if you can't fold far. If you see me, because of my rotation possibilities in my hips, I can't go very far. Now, the feet can be towards you, they can be close in, or they can be further away, or somewhere in between. Play with that and take it to the point where you are getting a mild to moderate stretch on the inside thighs. And then fold forward. Another option, if you wish, is to sit on something. If you'd like a little bit more stretch in the back, perhaps. If you feel like you're falling backwards, if you feel like you're tilting backwards and you'd like to fold forwards a bit more, then sitting up on something can be helpful. Just under 2 minutes here. Release the muscles and sink into the pose. For anyone who hasn't done Yin Yoga before, then you'll find it can be challenging. We're not used to being still. Please adjust the pose if you need to, or come out completely at any time. You don't have to stay in the pose because I've set a specific amount of time. I would much rather you listen to your body. We're looking for a mild to moderate sensation. So in this case, a stretch in the inside legs that we can stay in for several minutes. With some discomfort in that you are feeling the body being stimulated, but not painful. That's really, really important to remember. So if there's stabbing or pinching or tingling, biting sensations, anything like that, come out. Come out immediately. That's your body's way of telling you something isn't right. Okay, so we're going to move up out of this. So just roll up and we're going to move to the other side. So you can stay sitting on something if you want to. That's not a problem. Stretch out the left leg. So as you can see, we're doing a kind of circle here, bringing the right foot into the thigh. Play with the position of that straight leg. You can also rotate the leg so that we've got a stretch going on here. And we're going to start this time with the fold. So fold forward, find the position of the torso. And that's going to be different for different people, where you feel a stretch you can stay in for 2 minutes on the inside thigh without pushing, just relaxing into it. And you might want to notice as we're in these poses how things change second to second, microsecond to microsecond. So for example, bring your attention to the stretch where you're feeling the stretch the strongest. Is it exactly the same the whole time that you're in it? Do you feel like it widens and it gets smaller? Maybe the temperature changes. Maybe it moves from one place to another place. So we're noticing, we're investigating what's going on. We're drawing our attention to it. We're being mindful. We're learning from it. We're learning about our bodies. And we're learning that change is happening. It's inevitable in everything. And then inevitably, this must come to an end. And we move on to the next. We transition. So come up. And then we're going to go laterally. So turn over the bent knee. And then we're going to fold over sideways. So again, spend a bit of time with these arms. As I said, the lower one can be straight, it can be bent, you can rest your head. The top arm can be straight, it can be bent. It doesn't need to be on top of the head like it is for me. You can also have it a bit further forward or backwards. And if this isn't working at all, then another option is to put it behind your back. You may well lose the stretch in the side there. But if it's really not working for you, being over your head, then that is an option. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. And this time bring your attention to the side of the body. Are there any changes going on here? And even if you're not sensing any physical changes, notice how your attention wanders. 1 minute on the body, on the stretch, the next minute on a sound, the next minute on an emotion, the next minute on a thought. And this is what minds do. They flit around all over the place. But with meditation, with mindfulness meditation, for example, and Yin Yoga, we can train our minds to come back, to come back, to come back, to regulate them. Okay, so on the next out breath, then we're going to come up. And finally, this first part is over. We've done some really good stretching to the legs. So just bend that straightly, bring it in. And we're going to have a rebound here. So I'm going to give you the option of having a sitting rebound with your legs out straight, hands behind, or lie down. You choose. Relaxed and neutral is what we're going for. So you choose which one is better for you. Because that first one was a series, then we're going to have a slightly longer rebound here. A couple of minutes. Just allow the body to relax and just notice what's going on in the legs in particular. they feeling? Notice those physical sensations, any tingling or prickling or heat, changes moving from one part to another part. The rebound, as I said at the start, is this transition period. It's the space between the poses. It's not dead space. It's actually where the magic happens. In a physical sense, in an energetic sense. And if we look at things holistically, as we do in Yin Yoga and traditional Chinese medicine as well, then we can also notice perhaps how it's affecting our mental states, our emotional states, changing. And then let's just bring a bit of movement in, so you can just start moving the legs, you can start shaking the legs. Circle the ankles, and again, pay attention to these movements. Notice these movements rather than just doing them automatically, which is so often what we do. And then we miss so much. We miss so much, we miss so many learning opportunities. And then you might want to start moving the knees as well. Moving the legs a bit like kind of dry swimming. It's a bit difficult for me to do it on this mat, to be honest. It's very sticky, but maybe on your mat you might be able to. So opening the knees and bringing them back together again. A bit difficult for me, but hopefully you can do it. And then I want you to make your way up in whatever way is best for you to a seated position. And then go over onto your hands and knees. We are going to move into a swan series, but be very careful of your hips, and I will give you some alternative suggestions. So we're going to start on hands and knees. So you may also know this as pigeon, yet you do not need to have your front knee at a right angle. Please bear that in mind. What I was saying at the beginning, it does not matter what the poses look like, it's what they feel like. So our target area for this pose is the outer right hip, maybe going down the leg. So first of all, hands and knees, bring your right knee forward and then take your right knee out. You can bring the foot forward a little bit, not too far. Push that straight leg back, the left leg back. And we're going to start with active swan. So you can be on the fingertips, you can be on the hands, you can have your hands on blocks if you want. Now, if you're not feeling too much going on here, then what I suggest is sit down on that hip, bring that foot forward a bit, go back up again. Pay attention to the knee. In particular, pay attention to the knees and the hips, which are affected very much by one another. And then come up again. Yeah. Hopefully you are feeling a bit of a stretch here. If you aren't, then you can try again, sitting down and moving the foot forward. Really pay attention, make sure that the knee is okay, and be careful of the hip as well. We're going to stay here for 3 minutes. Let me check my timing. 2.5 minutes now, probably, actually. Yeah, 2.5 minutes. For anybody that this isn't working and they're feeling it in their knee and or hips, then come back down on your hip and you can move into eye of the needle. So this one, you are on your back, both knees bent. Right ankle is on the left leg somewhere. As I said, our target area is the outer right hip. If you are feeling enough stretch here already, then just stay here. Otherwise, bring the knees towards you and you thread the arm through the legs and take hold either behind the knee pit, the left knee pit, or in front. You choose which one works best for you if swan isn't working. And you stay here as we move into the second version of swan as well. So active swan, what we're doing here is we're also opening up the chest, stimulating those lines of energy, assisting in helping us to smoothly transition into spring with healthy bodies, healthy minds. Close your eyes. And what we're going to do is now move into sleeping swan. If you're in eye of the needle, stay where you are. And if you are in swan, active swan, then just walk the hands forward. And then fold forward. So you can stay here on the elbows. You could relax onto something like a bolster, for example. I know some of you like to use bolsters. Bolsters are great. Bolsters are a gift from the gods, actually. Or you can rest your head on your hands or on the ground. You go to the point that works for you. This may very well intensify the stretch here. If any of you find that for sleeping swan, so those of you that this is okay, then stay where you are, relax into the pose. If anybody is finding that this version, sleeping swan, is not working for you, then I'll give you another option. You can sit down on that right hip as we did before. I'm going to show you this way actually. Sit down on that right hip as we did before. Now this is kind of like a collapsed swan. So you can now bend this back leg. You can keep it straight if you want, but I would just bend the back leg for comfort. And then you can move the position of the torso. Actually, sorry, no. Then you want to bring this front foot forward, again paying attention to the knee, making sure that the knee is okay. And then fold forward. So play with the position of the torso, moving it a bit left, moving it a bit right, until you find the right amount of stretch on the outer right hip, and then fold. So this is like a collapsed sleeping swan. This is another option. Remember, if you want to use the breathing exercise, then please do. Keep the body relaxed. Notice if you've tensed anything anywhere. And use your out-breath, whatever out-breath that may be, to just relax into the pose. And if you moved into collapsed swan, then stay where you are just for a little bit longer. If you are in full sleeping swan, then push yourself up from your sleeping swan back into active swan. Tuck that back toe under and then just very gently take that knee back. And then fold back into child's pose for our rebound for around a minute. Noticing any sensations going on, physical, mental, emotional. By stimulating these particular lines of energy, then the emotions of anger, irritation, frustration might arise. These are the connected emotions. And if they do, notice them, acknowledge them, and then just gently move your attention away. Perhaps to the physical sensations that are going on in the body, or your breath. And then you'll notice that actually they will move, they will transition naturally when you're not paying them attention. And if you're in collapsed swan, then you can also move into child's pose. And sorry, those of you, anyone who is in eye of the needle, you might want to also lie back. Bring your legs down and lie down. And then if you just want to bring in a little bit of yang movement, shake the legs again, maybe if you're lying on your back. And for anybody else, if you wanted to just perhaps push your leg out behind, pushing into the ball of your foot, a bit of activity, a bit of yang activity. And maybe even move into a down dog if you want, pedaling the feet. I'll just give you a minute or so to just do what your body wants to do right now before we move to the other side. And when you're ready, just go back onto your hands and knees. This time, bring your left knee forward and out to the side. Push the right leg back. Play with the position of the hands. You might want to go up onto the fingertips, which is a little bit yang. I will say yes. Or down on the hands. If you've got that stretch in the outer left hip here, stay where you are. If you want more, try sitting down, bringing that foot forward, coming up again. As long as that's okay with the hips and okay with the knees. So we'll be in this version of Swan for 2 minutes. Again, if this isn't working for you and you would prefer eye of the needle, then you are bringing the left ankle on the right leg this time. Staying here if this is okay for you, or otherwise bringing the knees in, threading the left arm through the legs and taking hold behind the knee pit or in front of the knee. And then just relax into the pose. This lovely pose, I do like eye of the needle. And now we're going to transition, paying attention to our movements. And we're going to fold forward into sleeping swan, either down on the elbows or folded forward completely. Making sure that the stretch isn't too much or too little in the outer left hip. And I'll show you again, if you wanted to do the collapse one, you sit down on the left hip, bending that right leg a bit, bringing the left foot forward, and then folding forward, whichever direction gives you the best stretch in the outer left hip. That may be folded over the leg, it may be more towards the foot, it may be more of a twist to the left. It all depends on your body. Okay, so after the next out breath, then you just want to come back up again, noticing the movements, noticing the transition. And you can either move back into child's pose, or if you prefer, you can fold forward so that you are lying down on your front or on your back. A neutral pose for our rebound. You choose which one you want best, which one you can relax in, which one you can allow the body to regain its equilibrium. Noticing the space between, the rebound pose. Relaxing, rejuvenating, but also investigating. Not pushing anything aside that we don't like, not ignoring it. Noticing what we're feeling, where we're feeling it, what's going on with your mind. Can you feel the movement of blood, of energy, water? Noticing how everything comes and goes, everything changes, the inevitability of that. So if you're not already on your back, then please make your way to your back. We're going to finish, our final pose is going to be stretching the inside thighs again. If you have a bolster, then you might want to get the bolster. If you don't, it's fine. It doesn't matter at all. You don't necessarily need it. You can do this with the bolster along the back of your spine. You can also use a couple of cushions in the same way. So just put a couple of cushions to go along your spine. Or if you don't have any of those things, that's fine as well. You can do it without. So if you do have a bolster or pillows, just put your bum against it. So we're doing butterfly again as we did at the start, but we're doing a reclined version. So bring the soles of the feet together and then just go backwards onto your support or onto the floor. So we're also opening up, if you're up on something, we're also opening up the front of the torso. Play with the position of the arms out to the sides to open the torso, up above you, to stretch the front of the body, or somewhere in between, or just relax your arms if you want to. And this one we're going to stay in for 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
And for anybody who doesn't have anything behind their backs, all you need to do now is, besides ignoring my cat trying to get in the door, is straighten, bring the knees up, straighten the legs out, and then just move into your Shavasana. If you've got anything behind you, then just gently roll off, move it to the side, close your eyes, grab a blanket or anything it is that you want to stay warm and comfortable. Adjust the body as necessary. And just relax into your Shavasana, which will be around 3 minutes. And then I will bring you out with 3 chimes of a bell. Just wait until the final chime has gone before you gently make your way up to a seated position to join me. But for now, 3 minutes from now, let me do the timing and you just relax.
So very slowly in your own time, don't rush it all, and make your way back to join me in a seated position. Keeping your eyes closed. And let's just finish with 3 rounds of Lung Ro Cell. Breathe out completely. Breathe in. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And that is all for our Yin Yoga session. I hope that you enjoyed that and feel calm. So next is going to be Nigel. He'll be starting quite soon, just in a minute or so. And then I will see you for our final short closing circle at 5:45. Please do come along to that. It'd be just nice for us all to say goodbye, and then you have a chance to ask me anything you want to as well. So thanks very much, and I will see you then.